Hi, this is Kaya Nyambi Shivers of Ark Republic interviewing a man who has set it off in the community activist community locally in the New York area and also nationally. So I would like to introduce Afrika, who goes by the name of Afrika, a community activist and organizer with the nonprofit called My Youth Services out of Newark, New Jersey. How are you doing today, Afrika?
Outstanding.
All right. Yes. So, you are the man that a lot of people have been talking about, and I've heard a lot about the gentleman Mark Thompson. We see him a lot. He has a large platform, but nobody has heard really in the way that we know about Mark Thompson who you are.
Mhm.
And so, what we're going to talk about is an incident that took place and what has been the result of the incident. And I wanted to get from your perspective, from your lens, as to what happened.
Right.
So, could you take me to the day of what went on with this altercation between the analyst and activist Mark Thompson?
Okay. On Friday, the 5th, April the 5th, they had a gentrification town hall in Newark, New Jersey at NJIT. I think it was like around 7 o'clock. And when I got there, I saw Mark Thompson. I really didn't know his name off the top. So I went in my phone and I Googled him because I just see him off MSNBC, and I seen him on his Facebook show, Make It Plain. So I went on there and I looked and I saw his name. So I walked up to him. I like, how you doing, Mark? My name is Afrika. Do you mind if I could do a little interview for my Instagram page? He was like, no problem, brother. We could do it. But my wife wasn't in the room yet. So I told him when she get in, we could start. So he said, okay, whenever she comes, let me know. By the time she got in the room, the event had started and he was moderating. So I had to wait till the event was over to speak to him. So I stayed and I watched the event. I listened to the speakers, and when it was over, he walked by me because I was about to say hi to Councilman Barron, and he walked by me, and I was like, "Oh, can we do the interview now?" So he said, "Okay." So I
So,
told my
so can I ask you? So everything was cool.
yeah, everything
Everything
was
was
cool.
lovely. Okay,
I never met him before. Like
right.
I never spoke to him before. I never dialogued with him. I just saw him on TV and social media. And every time I saw him, most of the time I saw him, he was talking about the Russia Gate, and the stuff that kept playing in my mind was when the Mueller report came out and how highly upset he was. And I just kept saying to myself, like, if I ever got a chance to speak to him, I'm gonna ask him why that really upset him so much. Because to me, like, I really don't care about Russia and I don't care about Mueller. Like, the stuff that really bothers me has nothing to do with them. Like, my children go to school, the water is poison. We have the superintendent is racist. The curriculum is racist in itself, and these are the things that I really care about. So
So
for the
let's
last,
yeah.
yeah.
So let's go back to this incident. Let's get this incident on the
Oh,
table.
okay. So when Patience put the camera on, I started asking him. I was like, when I see you on MSNBC and I see you on this platform, you're talking about RussiaGate and Mueller. And to me, I don't think that's what's important to people like me. I'm poor, I'm black, I'm in the inner city. Like, our issues are the water, the charter schools, our school. And now I went on and I named a couple of different things. Then he told me that Russia was important, that I should be worried about Russia. So I say to him, like, Russia is really, I don't care about Russia. Like, Russia's not shooting me in the back. Like, Russia's not the one shooting me. Like, he started getting upset. He started putting his hand in my face, like, you should be worried about Russia. Russia's the one that you should be interested. I'm like, I told him again, like, I don't care about Russia. So he tried to, like, stop the conversation and leave. So I'm like, look, I was speaking to the camera. I'm like, look, he's running. He's not trying to answer my questions. Like, I really wanted to have a dialogue with him, to speak to him, because from my perspective, I was thinking maybe he don't speak to people like me. He don't talk to people like me on a daily basis. So he don't understand the issues that I deal with. So I thought maybe if I let him know, we could go back and forth and he could explain to me why Russia was so important. But it seemed like he was trying to leave. Like, he started saying like I was being disrespectful. Like, if you watch the video, I never raised my voice at him. I was my tone was calm. I didn't put my hands in his face. I wasn't trying to attack him. All I simply asked him was why Russia was the only thing he spoke about when he got on that platform. And then I said, how can I get somebody on that platform that speaks for me? that speaks for the things that I go through on a day-to-day basis. And he tried to make a beeline to leave. And that's when I challenged him. Like, look, man, you can't run
Now,
away.
now I have a question because I did see the video
Uh,
that ran. There was a point where it got clearly tense.
yes,
He was upset and he was like, "Yeah, let's go. I want to, end the conversation."
yes,
And then you were saying, "No, you're continuously asking questions and putting it out there
yes.
about his stance and everything, right?" So there is a point where he's like, "I want to go," and you're like, "No, you're gonna sit here and talk about it." You didn't say it in those words, but to me,
Yeah.
that's how I read it.
Because I may never see him again. That
Right.
was my first time ever meeting him. And when you get on that platform, he claims to be speaking for people like me. Like he's not on MSNBC just because he's on MSNBC. They bring him on for the black perspective, for my perspective. So I really wanted to have a dialogue with him. Like, what are you really doing on those spaces to talk about the issues I care about? And it
Mhm.
seemed like he did not want to go there. He just started telling me that I was being disrespectful for asking him those questions. And then he tried to put his hand out to shake my hand. And I was like, no, there's no peace. If you're not speaking for me, I don't know who you're speaking for, but like we don't have peace. And I really need to understand where you're coming from. And that's when he started saying I was disrespectful. And I said, no, you're selling us out. You're selling us out. You're a coon. And that's when he grabbed me by the face and punched me on my right eye. Yo, MSNBC speak, and I get, you got the video of me?
Yes.
And I get frustrated because the stuff that you say, other people say, don't really explain me all my life. I'm a poor black man from the inner city. And I don't care about Russians. I don't care about Newarks. I care that my life sucks, my school water is poisoned, my kids' education is horrible, there are no jobs, I have a felony, so I really can't get a job. These are the things I care about. And I don't want no politician that's going to give more tax cuts to the wealthy, like Obama, like Trump, like Bush, like the Clintons. I want somebody to fight for us. How do I get somebody on MSNBC with that platform to speak for me?
I'm talking about those things on MSNBC.
Oh, but like when I see you on MSNBC, like
You haven't seen me every time I've been on it. I'm talking about those things.
I even watched you on your Facebook thing. Like when the Mueller report came out, you was highly upset. But to us, the average black person, people catching up out here, we don't care about Russia.
That's not true. We have to care about everything. We have to address
No,
every
but
single thing.
Russia's not the one that's killing me. Russia's not the one that's
No, Russia
shooting
is.
me.
Russia is.
No.
May I speak? You want to let me talk?
No,
You gonna talk?
you can speak.
Please.
Don't
Y'all be
try to
silly.
overspeak. You see how he
I don't
running?
have time.
He don't have nothing to say. He gonna run. You go
don't have
out there
time.
and you make us look like idiots, bro. I mean, we
Wait,
out here
finish.
catching hell.
Finish, and
I'm
I'm
done.
gonna
I'm
be
done. You go ahead and talk.
Okay,
You're not gonna say nothing. There's no peace.
Because you
You're selling us
disrespect.
out.
Because you
No,
disrespect.
you're a sellout. You're a fool. Disrespect. You're a fool and a sellout.
You call me a realist, you call me a fool.
Now, have you ever been in a fight when it came onto a political platform like that,
Oh
or been in
no,
some type of physical altercation?
never debating political. I've been in fight years ago, but like
Right. Well,
never
yeah,
about
we're not
politics.
talking about that, but I'm talking about when you're in politics. So
Yeah, never.
it caught you off guard.
Yeah, I was surprised when as soon as he hit me, I turned. There's a longer version of the video. I turned around to Patience. She was recording. And I was like, "Did you get that on video?" Because like I was shocked, but I knew not to put my hands on him. Because if I put my hands on him, they probably would have shot me in there. Because if you watch the video, everybody was taking up for him, even though he was the one that put his hands on me and abused me. Like everybody around it was a class thing. Everybody that belonged to that class, that knew of him, that knew his status, like they were really taking up for him. Like they surrounded him to protect him. And it was clear that he hit me in my face. So but I still didn't act out of character. I still try to keep myself calm. And I just kept telling him that he wasn't representing me, that he was a sellout. And I just continue to say that. I think I have the right to tell him that. I didn't think that deserved to get punched in the face.
So I have questions. At any point in time, did you ever attempt to physically respond to him,
No,
punch him,
never,
push him,
no, never.
anything?
Even after they separated us and they took him to the back of the room, he was putting his equipment together. And when I was walking out towards that way, I saw him over there. And I was like, and I continued to ask him, like, why would you do that? Like, why would you hit me? Like, we all know what you're doing. You work on a corporate media station. Like, let's be clear about something. He works on a corporate platform. He is the mouthpiece for corporate, for MSNBC and Sirius FM, whatever. He does not speak for me. He regurgitates whatever they tell him to say in those spaces. And I believe I have the right to challenge him, hold him accountable, speak truth to power, because he has the power. He has the platform to be able to reach thousands, millions of people talking about the issues that pertain to me. And I believe I have the right to question him on what he's saying on those platforms. If he doesn't want to answer me, he could just say no and don't even speak to me and keep it moving. But he kept challenging me. He even took out his phone and started recording me. I was like, you can record. My name is Afrika. I live at 175 First Street. I gave him my address. I told him where I was at. I'm like, but that doesn't change the fact that you're a sellout. You're eating good. You look like you're getting fat. You got your dreads done. We out here starving. We catching hell. I mean, and I just said things like that. I never tried to hit him. At one point I told him, why are you so aggressive, brother? Because he tried to hit me with his cell phone. He had his cell phone in my face and he tried to hit me on the face with it.
Oh, when he was recording. So he tried to hit you. So he hit you first and then he tried to hit you a second time.
Yes, with his cell phone.
Confronting him, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this is really interesting. Who was at this meeting, right? Who gave the meeting? Let's start with who gave the meeting. Was it the city of Newark?
I think the mayor and what's his name, Ron Daniels. I think the mayor gave the town hall meeting, whatever, and it was moderated by Mark Thompson. But on the panelists was Patience. Who was on the panelists? It was a plethora of people. Yeah, Larry Ham. The only people I was Charles Barron. Like it was probably like 10 people on the panel.
Okay, all right. And so after this second time, now he tries to hit you again. What happens after that when you walk out of the building?
Everybody, when he tried to hit me with his cell phone, everybody was trying to take him away. Like they were holding him, trying to take him back. And at one point in the video, he said, "Yo, y'all making me look bad. Stop grabbing me. Stop trying to take me. Stop trying to touch me, whatever. Go talk to him." But I wasn't aggressive. I wasn't moving towards him. I wasn't saying, so there was no need to touch me. So they finally got him outside and they started walking out the building with him. So I started leaving too. Then I stopped. There's an activist called Street Doctor. And he was in the hallway. He was walking with Mark Thompson. And I'm like, what are you doing, brother? I'm like, he just assaulted me. Why are you over there talking to him? You should be talking to me because he called me baby street doctor. So I'm like, why? You should be over there talking. So he walked towards me and I showed him. I'm like, look, he punched me in the face and I went back in the phone to go find it. At this moment, he had left. He left with his entourage and he went outside. So I'm showing Street Doctor on my phone. Like, look at this. We sat there and we watched the whole video. MSNBC speech, and you got the video?
Yes.
And I get frustrated because the stuff that you said, other people say, don't really explain me all my life. I'm a poor black man from the inner city. And I don't care about Russians. I don't care about Mueller. I care that my life sucks, my school water is poisoned, my kids' education is horrible, there are no jobs, I have a felony, so I really can't get a job. These are the things I care about. And I don't want no politician that's going to give more tax cuts to the wealthy, like Obama, like Trump, like Bush, like the Clintons. I want somebody to fight for us. How do I get somebody on MSNBC with that platform to speak for me?
I'm talking about those things on MSNBC.
But like when I see you on MSNBC, like
you haven't seen me every time I've been on. I'm talking about it.
I even watched you on your Facebook thing. Like when the Mueller report came out, you was highly upset. But to us, the average black person, people catching out here, we don't care about Russia.
That's not true. We have to care about everything. We have to address everything.
No, but Russia's not the one that's killing me. Russia's not the one that's shooting me.
Russia is. May I speak? You want to let me talk? You can
speak.
Please.
Y'all be speak. You see how he running? He don't have nothing to say. He gonna run. You go out there and you make us look like idiots, bro. I mean, we out here catching hell. I'm done. You go ahead and talk. You're not gonna say nothing. There's no peace.
Because you disrespect.
No, I'm a sellout. You a fool. Disrespect. You a fool and a sellout. You call me a realist. You call And after we watched the video, he was like, "Oh man, I can't believe that. I can't believe he did that." So when I left, me and Patience started leaving. We still saw him outside. He was outside with like 3-4 people, like walking towards the car. That's when I told him, "Yo, we not inside no more." I like, "Come put your hands on me now." Because I skipped over a part. NJIT police was present. I went to NJIT police and I told them, "Yo, this man just assaulted me. I want to make a report." Because I knew how this was going to be spent. I've been dealing with these people for 11 years. They lie. They don't tell the truth. Like, I knew, like, when they left from there, he was going to spin it to suit him. So I told NJIT I want to make a report of what happened. NJIT police refused to make a report. They told me to go to the Newark Police Department, which I did. After I came outside, I saw them again. And like in the camera outside, you could see the NJIT police standing right behind me. And I was challenging Mark. I'm like, yo, Mark, why would you put your hands on me? Why don't you come put your hands on me right now? But he continued to go inside the car. One of his bodyguards, flunkies, whatever you want to call himself, he called him White Jesus on his TV, on his radio show. White Jesus came over there and put his hand on me, trying to push me back. So I'm like, yo, get your hands off.
Okay, so another person put their hands on
Yeah.
you. Was this a white guy or was this a black guy?
It was a white guy. He grabbed me. I'm like, yo, what are you doing? Yo, get your hands off me. I wasn't charging towards Mark Thompson. All I was doing was walking towards him like, come put your hands on me outside. Come put your hands on me now. Because it was clear the NJIT wasn't going to do nothing. The security that was there was going to do nothing. Nobody was going to do anything.
So let me get this straight. So there were two forms of law enforcement inside and outside of the building. There was the security and there was NJIT. NJIT law enforcement are the law enforcement who police the school, New Jersey Institute of Technology.
Yes.
So they saw the commotion on the inside and were aware of it, and on the outside. Never once did they step in, try to subdue anything.
No. They told me they didn't see it. I'm telling them, I'm telling them like they were all in the room. I don't know how they didn't say it, but they said they didn't see it. So I'm like, okay, I'm telling you, he hit me in the face, like he assaulted me.
So they didn't see the actual, so they say, physical altercation, but they saw the melee. They saw the confusion that happened. Did they step in any way, shape, or form?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Because I wasn't aggressive. Like, there was no need to step in. I wasn't trying to fight him. I wasn't trying to do none of that. There wasn't really no reason to touch me, to break anything up. But they refused to take the report, though.
So back to outside with white guy,
Jesus.
right? Yeah, I'm not gonna call him that.
Yeah, I don't know his name.
Yeah, I don't know who he is, and I'm
no. That's what Mark Thompson called him.
Right.
Yo,
right.
So
a guy who Mark Thompson identifies as White Jesus comes up, pushes you,
yes.
right, and is telling you to back off, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I told him several times, yo, get your hands off me. But he kept grabbing me. So I grabbed him and I took him down. Like, I just grabbed him and moved him out of the way. And then I walked towards Mark. Like, hey, Mark, man, like, why'd you put your hands on me? You know what? Come put your hands on me right now. Come touch me. And he walked inside the car. The security came. They told me, like, yo, Afrika, chill, man. Afrika, let it be. And I was shocked because the security knew me. The security, he worked for the mayor. He worked for the city. And he knows me. I worked on the mayor's campaign. I know all of these people. Like, I was really shocked. Like, this man assaulted me and everybody refused to do anything about it. So when they drove away, I just went down to I went down to Franklin Street and made a report there.
That's the precinct.
That's the precinct.
Precinct on Franklin Street in Newark, New Jersey.
Yes.
Okay. And so you filed it, and did the police allow you to file it? The complaint?
The police, they wrote the report there after I showed them the video. And on Monday, I received a call, and they told me they were sending it back to NJIT because NJIT was supposed to make the report. So I think it was a Sergeant Wright. So I said, okay. He said, wait, they should be calling you in a few hours. I haven't received a call from NJIT as I'm speaking to you now. Mm-hmm. They haven't reached out to me. It seems like nobody wants to take the report. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I haven't spoken to anybody yet.
So what has happened? Okay, so what has happened following after you did the report? What has happened in terms of the response from Thompson or the larger community? Could you please explain that?
That night when they happened, I was upset. And when I got home that night, I saw some interview he did on Make It Plain because I thought he was going to go on Make It Plain and say something. So I went and looked on there, and he had an interview with Cory Booker saying Cory Booker. What was he saying about Cory? Cory Booker didn't want to take up for black people or something. Something he put on his Facebook page. So I put a picture up there of him choking me. I mean, I was like, well, Cory Booker may not want to take up for black people, but you're assaulting activists. Somebody from ADOS, I think Yvette Carnell, took that picture and she put it on his Twitter page. And she said, Reverend, are you out here assaulting people on the streets? So when he came back, he went on MSNBC on Sunday. I think that was the 7th. He spoke about it, said somebody assaulted him in Newark. And then I think a day later or 2 days later, he had a whole program on the Sirius show calling me COINTELPRO, saying I assaulted him. That when he came to Newark, like ADOS sent me to go and assault him. They paid me. Like I was an agitator, agent provocateur. He said he knew my name. His friends in Newark already gave him my name, but he wasn't gonna put nothing out. Like he was warning me. He told me he said he had friends in the FBI. I think something Nash in the CIA, FBI, or something like that. So while I was watching it, like I'm thinking, why didn't he pick up the phone and call me? All he had to do was just call me, maybe have a conversation with me or apologize, because he knows the mayor. Him and the mayor go back about 20 years. The mayor has my number. The mayor's security has my number, but he never reached out to me.
Well, let me say this. To call somebody to be part of COINTELPRO, let me just talk about that. An agitator, an agent provocateur is very, very strong accusatory language that can result in serious ramifications and danger, right? And it's really interesting that this is being wrapped around as well, ADOS, right? So for those people who do not know what ADOS or ADOS is, ADOS or ADOS is an acronym for a movement started by Yvette Carnell and Antonio Moore, who have this a movement saying that American descendants of slaves are deserving of reparations, and they have a whole platform that talks about it. But there's been a lot of conversation and a lot of controversy around their movement and their the way they see and they feel that how this should be handled. So for the record, let me ask you, are you a member of ADOS or ADOS?
No, I am not a member. I have no cards. I'm not a card wielding member. I'm none of that. I speak to nobody that's ADOS. No, I'm not part of ADOS.
So have you had any conversations with Yvette Carnell or Antonio Moore?
No, never, never spoke to Yvette or Mr. Moore either.
Okay, what is your relationships with the FBI or law enforcement?
They lock me up. That's my relationship with them. They lock me up.
Wow, this is really just very interesting. So he goes on his Sirius XM show and calls you an agent, an agitator, an agent provocateur, said that you were the one who actually assaulted him and that you were COINTELPRO as well as ADOS. Damn, that's very interesting how you get all that. Then you throw ADOS in there. That's really kind of interesting. This is so interesting. So what happened when you heard that and you found that out? What was your response? Or there were some other things that happened before you could respond?
No, I was livid when I saw it, because at that point, I think it was on a Tuesday. At that point, I had received no call from the city. Nobody had called to speak to me. Like I said, this was an event hosted by the mayor. And the mayor knows me. He knows me real well. Me, my wife, my children, we all worked on this campaign a few months ago. So he knows who I am. Even at the event, he came to me, like I was talking to him, and I said, I've been trying to see you. He said, just come up to the office and make an appointment. He's like, you don't need to call to make no appointment. You don't need to go through no email. Just come through and tell my secretary to make an appointment. So at that moment, I was still thinking, like, why hasn't the mayor reached out to me yet? So on Tuesday, when I saw what he was saying, I was like, I couldn't believe it. So I posted the video. MSNBC, and you got the video?
Yes.
And I get frustrated because the stuff that you say and other people say don't really explain me all my life. I'm a poor black man from the inner city. And I don't care about Russia. I don't care about Newark. I care that my life sucks, my school water is poisoned, my kids' education is horrible, there's no job, I have a felony, so I really can't get a job. These are the things I care about. And I don't want no politician that's going to give more tax cuts to the wealthy, like Obama, like Trump, like Bush, like the Clintons. I want somebody to fight for us. How do I get somebody on MSNBC with that platform to speak for me?
I've talked about those things on MSNBC.
Oh, but like when I see you on MSNBC, like
you haven't seen me every time I've been on. I've talked about it.
I even watched you on your Facebook page. Like when the Mueller report came out, you was highly upset. But to us, the average black person, people catching up out here, we don't care about Russia.
That's not true. We have to care about everything. We have to address
everything. No, but Russia's not the one that's killing you. Russia's not the one that's
Russia is. Russia is. May I speak? You want to let me talk? You can talk. Please. Y'all be later.
You see how he running? He don't have nothing to say. He gonna run. You go out there and you make us look like idiots, bro. I mean, we out here catching hell. I'm done. You go ahead and talk. You're not gonna say nothing. There's no peace.
Because you disrespect.
Because you disrespect. You're a sellout. You're a spoon. Disrespect. You're a fool and a sellout.
You call me a fool.
Once I posted the video, it went viral. Everybody started looking at the video, and they made up their mind what they was gonna do with it.
Now, you've also had some social media flashback as well, or response that you wanted to talk about too.
Social media what?
Social media. There's been some social media activity in addition to what Yvette Carnell did, but people have been, either signing on to what has been going on, or even like escalating the situation.
Yeah, people have been attacking me on Instagram. They've been coming on Facebook saying, he's basically an ally. Why are you going back and forth with the ally? Like you need to go back to Africa. Like all kind of nonsense. I try not to pay any attention because really I don't think they know what they're talking about. I don't think they really care for the truth. They're just trying to take up for them. So it really don't matter. It really didn't mean nothing to me. But they've been on my Instagram page. They come in with different names, with different whatever, and just calling me all kind of names. But yeah, it doesn't matter.
All right, so let's get more into who you are, Afrika, the community activist and organizer, because I think that's very important for people to understand. Is that you've already said that you have a wife, you have children, you're an activist. How long have you been organizing in Newark, New Jersey?
Since 2008. I walked out of prison in 2008, and when I tried to enter the job field, because I told myself once I walked out of prison, I'm never gonna get in trouble again. I had read all these books. I had read from Garvey to Martin to Du Bois. I went Sheikh Anta Diop, Van Sertima. I had spent my whole time in prison basically just reading and studying to find out who I was, how I ended up in prison. So when I walked out of prison, I told myself I would never go back in those doors again. I would never be in that space again. So I tried to go get a job. It was almost impossible. Everywhere I went, my felony was keeping me from getting a job. So my mother and my wife said, you know what? You should just go back to school. Go back to school, go get a couple of degrees. Maybe that will help you obtain a job. And while you're doing that, you could do the community work that you want to do with the kids and stuff in the neighborhood. So I went back to school and I did exact that. And I think that's where I met you. You came to Essex County. Yeah,
exactly. I was doing a talk at Essex County College on my work, my dissertation work on Nollywood, and you were in the class for Professor Wager. So I was doing my talk, and that's how we met. And then soon thereafter, because I'm very transparent, because I'm not the type of person to hide, my connections. Soon thereafter, my husband, who had a barbershop in Newark, in downtown Newark, it was one of the few Black-owned barbershops there. You came in with a group of basketball players, young men, and in there was your son, and you were doing community work. Not only were you, coaching the basketball team, but I distinctly remember that you had these young men cleaning up abandoned lots in Newark.
Yes. But I tried when I came home. I tried to go to the town hall, the council meeting, the school board meetings, because I thought I found out something that nobody knew. Like I'm the first one I thought I just discovered racism. I discovered the new Jim Crow. So I'm going everywhere. I'm trying to speak, but everybody knew. It seemed like the politicians understood what was going on, and it seemed they really didn't care, or it didn't benefit them to do anything to change it. So I changed my strategy and started working with the kids. So I said, you know what? These people are adults. I can't really change their mind. But if I start working with kids and I find something to grab their attention, they're going to listen, and I could change their lives. And maybe they're going to be the one that's going to enter City Hall. They're going to be at the school board, whatever. So I started working with them. So I use basketball as the magnet, as the center to get them in. So for the kid, before they went to school in the morning, I told them if they wanted to be the best, they had to work harder than everybody else. So an hour before they went to school, we were outside of the park. We practiced for an hour. Then I took them to school, made sure they were in school. After school, we had an after-school program where they had to do their homework. After they did their homework, then we had basketball training, and then I drove all of them home. I did this for 11 years. And because they worked so hard, I wanted to show them their hard work really meant something, that it translated. So we traveled all over the country. We went to Florida. We go to Vegas, and I saw you in Vegas one time.
Yep.
you came to our hotel and you gave us money because we had like 12 kids down there, and we won
Right.
that tournament too. I
Oh,
think it was the
you
Fab
did. Oh,
48.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Because I saw, for the viewers, I'm the type for me. This is my, politics. Learn from my mother and my father, and I know they learned it from their parents. Is that when you see people in the community doing good work, and you have something you give, and I remember distinctly that you were asking for money, and
Mhm.
nobody wasn't giving you money, and you funded that out of your own pockets, and
Yes.
you and patience. So while this is going on, right, you are getting your degree. What
Yes.
degrees were you getting in the process of these 11 years?
When I first went to Essex County, I was thinking what should I study, because I wanted to understand the society that I'm in. So I first thought about psychology. Then Dr. Kalfani, who was my professor, my African, he was one of my professors. I think a sociology professor. He said maybe you want to switch over to sociology, and I still wasn't sure. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take liberal arts. I'm going to get all my classes in the writing, the English, the math, and then when I get to King University, I'll decide what I want to do. So after I got my degree there for liberal arts, I went on to King University and I took sociology and history. And after I got my degree, I spent my time full time working with the kids in the community because it just reinforced everything that I already knew. Basically, you have to create a space for these kids to understand who they are, where they come from, and where they should be heading towards. And that it has to be on a daily basis: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It can be 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, because the challenges these kids face, most people have no idea. Yo, they're kids in the projects that just live by themselves. There are no parents. Their parents get high and are often locked up. So these kids are by themselves, raising themselves. So it's like you can't just fly in 1 minute or 2 hours a day and then be gone. Yo, kids had keys to our house, our apartment. If you didn't eat, if you couldn't feed yourself, you didn't know how to do your homework, you didn't have nowhere to go, you could always come ring my doorbell. We would always let you in. So for the last 11 years, that's what I've been doing in the city. And my
And where are these students now? Are they graduated? Where
uh,
are they?
this some of them are in college playing basketball in college D1 basketball. They use the skill set which I taught them to move on in life, which was the whole purpose. But the part that was bothering me was once they left, because they were like, it was kids 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, because that's the age where you can really get to them. This is when they start caring about how the world sees them, how the world perceives them. And since they have no money to buy clothes or fancy things, the materialistic things, sports is an outlet. Sports give them that status that they don't have in society. So they use the sports, like it's a few of them that are in college right now. I don't know if they want me to mention their names, so I'm not gonna throw their names out there. But
But I think that's really important. You telling that, because largely your platform has dealt with a population that is largely goes invisible. I could say this, just coming from South Central LA,
mm,
living in Newark, living in Atlanta, and working with these boys. So largely your platform has been in a type of form of education via sports. My
yes,
question is, what made you get into the realm of the activism that you're doing when you're attending, you're demonstrating, and you're becoming more vocal about the social issues?
it's all together. It's like let's say when I started working with the kids by myself, and then I send them to the schools. The school does not reinforce what I'm teaching them. The school reinforces a curriculum that just tests them. It just tests them to nauseam. They just take tests. And at one point, my daughter made at one point, she said, "Daddy, like, I want to be a teacher, but the school don't teach you how to be a human being." And
Ooh.
like, yeah, and it's like I had to really teach them like the world that they were in, and I couldn't just focus on them because the world around them impacts them. The decisions that are made at City Hall by the superintendent of schools. Because when I first started working with them, we had Cammie Anderson and Cory Booker was the mayor, and they were trying to sell the water. They were trying to privatize the schools. So it's like me working with the kids, I still had to deal with that other side. So
Mm.
I was going to school. I had the program with the kids, and I still had to go to the school board council meeting. I still had to go to the rallies to get attention to this issue that nobody was really speaking about, and nobody was talking about it from a scientific perspective. So like I felt like I had to do all those things. But that's, I don't know. I don't know if I answered your question.
No. You definitely did. So you were talking about that. There was a point where in you helping students, and you had this sports program, which is free, totally free to the
So
participants, and they got uniforms, they got travel, they got food. Um, there was a point where you had to then enter into other arenas that dealt with social justice, and said, in order for me to do this, I've also got to do this type of activism, because it goes hand in hand. I get it. So I think one of the things that is, that I have a question about, because I'm not a native Newarker, right? Is the type of politics that Newarkers do, which I have never seen in anywhere else in the United States. It is very loud. It is very confrontational. It is very bold, and that actually has a history of these what we call confrontational politics. So at any given time, things will pop up, and I will see you. Not just recently, battling the police. Not battling the police, but I should say in arguments with the police over a parking space. Right.
confronting them.
So could you explain the type of politics that Newark has, so people, can
Let me
it's people
let me
goes,
see how
oh,
to
he's
put it.
just a loud black man,
Let me see how to put it. If you're not here, the reason why I decided to stay in the inner city, the hood, the projects, whatever you want to call it or qualify it to be, I was following in the steps of Du Bois, and when I read the Philadelphia Negro, he went to the poorest part of town, and he
Mm-hmm.
did a study to try to see how, like, what was going on. So I said, you know what, I have to stay here. I didn't go get a job after I graduated from college. I didn't go try to look for money, try to make a lot of money. I said I'm going to use that to work in the community, and the things that you see, the average person don't see. Like in my community, the average person makes about, let's say, $10,000-$12,000 on a weekly basis. Their car is towed from outside by the police, and they have to pay about $200-$300 to get that car back. When you lose your car, you can't get to work. You can't take your kids to school. Like, this are hidden taxes that nobody see. You won't see that on MSNBC, CNN. You
Right.
won't hear no politician speaking about it. Or the police will look at you with disdain, like no respect. Like they don't care who you are, because you don't have the power, the money to challenge them. So the way they speak to you and the way they treat you is as if you're one of the undesirables. And me having the background that I have, the college education that I have, like I know their behavior is wrong. And when you challenge them, they get upset. Like when
Mm-hmm.
you say, let me see, what was the last thing that happened? About a ticket. The police came behind me. I was waiting for, let me start over. The police towed our car from the mechanic shop. The tow truck company is ran by the police, ex-police officers, and they towed our car from the mechanic shop.
Right. So let's give that the note. So ex-police officers are contracted by the city of Newark to run a tow trucking company. Okay.
Some, yeah, some, whatever,
Right.
they're affiliated, and the police car drives with them, and they're all ex-police officers, and they tow your car, and they say, like, you probably was parked on the sidewalk, you was parked wrong. Like, it's not nothing illegal. Your car can be parked on the right side of the street, but they tow it because you have to pay them about $250, $300 to get the car back, and most people can't pay that, so they keep the car. So, like, me knowing I didn't park on the wrong side of the street, and you towed my car, and then you tell me it's under investigation. After the investigation, I expect to get my car back without extra penalties and extra fees. But it doesn't work that way. You have to pay these people like a paycheck to get your car back. So I'm not just gonna let you take the car and just go with my car. I'm gonna challenge you. And I wish I had money to sue, because like there are lawsuits all over this place. But when you're poor, you really can't challenge what they do. So they just exploit you. Like, but that's just one scenario. But everything, even the politicians don't listen to you. Like when Cammie Anderson was here and they were taking over our school system. Yo, we came out in droves. Thousands of people came out. They'll have the meetings in small venues where we couldn't get in, and we have to be outside in the cold, protesting out in the cold to get in to have our voice heard. And they'll make sure they keep us out of there and do what they want to do regardless. We have no power. We can't sue them. Like right now, if I want to go get a lawyer, the lawyer's going to ask me to pay them. I don't have no money to pay them. So if I don't have no money to pay them, they're not taking my case. They're not doing it pro bono. Nobody works for free. So all these little things that you go through in the community, if you don't say nothing, it's going to continue happening. So I believe, or I thought I should say something. But in return, I got a lot of hatred. Like it's like they make me out to seem like I'm wrong for questioning the things that they do in the community. Like the water, like our water as we speak right now, the water we take a shower with, the water we drink, the water is poison. We don't have money to go get bottled water to take a shower with, to cook with, to wash our clothes with. So guess what? We have to suffer under this circumstances and do nothing. There's nothing you can literally do but just accept it. And when you speak out about it, you're called a liar. Right. You're called a provocateur. They tell you it's the pipes. When like this thing you can really do. Like our arms are tied. We're just here suffering.
So let me just kind of get. I have a couple of more questions about Newark, and I see you're very passionate, but you're getting it in, right? So a couple of questions. Like Newark is a predominantly Black community. Can you explain the demographics of Newark and why you, as a Newarker, represent this demographic?
I think, what is it? Like, what are we the demographic? Where are we? I think we're like half and half, like half Black, half Spanish, or a little bit more
right.
Hispanic.
No, it's predominantly Black. I think I want to say in terms of like the Black population, it's about 55% roughly Black.
Yeah.
Then you have, Latino, and then you have still some whites, like a very small contingency of whites.
Oh, they coming in. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the white people are coming in. Yeah, I do. They be riding their bikes. They be doing their little running. But yeah, they are coming in. Right. They coming in like on the Boondocks. You ever saw the Boondocks?
Yes, I
know. They be running in the neighborhoods. Yeah, they come. They're gentrifying.
Yo, I saw this dude at 2 a.m. walking like a poodle with like some poom shorts on. I was
word up. Like
it's not. Yeah. Oh,
but I grew up in Newark my whole life. I went to middle school. I went to high school. I even went to college in Newark. So it's like I've been here my whole life, and it's like the politicians my whole life have been Black. Right. They haven't been white. It hasn't been like a white person that's so racist. The police, like they're so. It's all people that look like me. Mm-hmm. But what they do doesn't benefit the people that live here. Mm. I mean, like right now, we're under a consent decree from the police. Like they have to bring people in to come and monitor the police, and still nothing has changed.
Right.
The police still behave the same way. You about to say something?
Yeah, no, go ahead. No, keep going. No, I'm not. Yeah. I'm listening.
No, the police still behave the same way. So it's like you just have politicians in blackface. It's like they're really not doing nothing to really help us. It's just the same liberal, democratic, neoliberal stuff that's been going on forever.
And I also wanted to bring up is that as much as there is a very strong, Black or Black or African American presence, there's also a very strong African and Caribbean community, which you represent too, being that you are literally Africa, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
My father is from Nigeria and my mother is from Liberia, but her parents, her lineage comes from Kentucky and Virginia. They went back during the Garvey movement. They went back to Liberia to establish over in Liberia. And she came back with my father when they met in Liberia and came back in the mid-70s. And she had me here in Newark in 79. So, like, I'm an African American.
Oh, wow. And those people in the back, who are those people in the back?
Patience is here. Oh, the pictures back there. Oh, this Mom Dukes right here.
Oh, that's your mom.
Yeah, okay. This Mom Dukes right here. Yo, everybody be talking. Yo, this is where I get all my fire from. This is where I get my fire. Okay. And on the other side is my grandfather. My grandfather's on the other side.
Ah, okay. That's a good history. It's so fascinating, people's histories. And I think that kind of represents the fascinating lineages that you see that come, out of Newark, specifically. So with all that is being said, with this that has emerged, this what they call it, Wahala in Nigeria, all this chaos that has Wahala. So with all this has emerged, I've been reading, and there has been to date, as we know, Mark Thompson has not been on MSNBC. Has he been on his radio program?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think he's been silenced on his radio program. So now there are, people Some people that have been identified as the right, the white right, have been calling for him to be removed as a result of your altercation. And then there's a contingency of people that are saying that, yeah, he messed up, but he doesn't need to be removed. My question to you is that with all that has happened, what are the things that you want out of this?
I don't like him getting fired. That's gonna do nothing for me. Him losing his job, that does nothing to bet. I benefit from that in no way, no how. So I really don't care about him losing his job. I even reached out to him. I reached out to him on Instagram. I sent him a message and I told him, hey, look, man, like basically you started all of this by going on there calling me COINTELPRO. Just reach out to me. If there's anything I could do to help you, I'll help you out. But he still hasn't reached out to me yet. Yo, the whole thing about ADOS, me being part of ADOS, this was from him. He started that whole, like he thought he could spin it and like it would benefit him to paint me as ADOS. So he started attacking them because they had something going on between him and ADOS. And he just threw me in there to try to get back at them. But I'm like, yo, I really don't care about none of that. Yo, from the beginning, it was about the ideas. Because the ideas that you propagate are heavy. They're real heavy. What you say on those medias, on those platforms, they influence how people think. And I want to have a conversation on this level. Yo, I don't have a lawyer. I didn't go get a lawyer to try to sue him. Man, he clearly assaulted me. I can go get a lawyer and I can find a lawyer that may handle that pro bono. Like one of these little petty lawyers would take that and run with it. But I didn't call nobody. I've been waiting for him to actually call me and say and apologize and tell the truth.
So at the very least, you want a conversation with him.
And that's what I wanted from the beginning. Because you see, I don't have that voice. I don't have that voice to tell the world what we go through in the inner city. The hell we are catching. Like I'm telling you, like right now when we get off, I have to take a shower tonight. My kids have to take a shower. We have to eat. We have to wash our clothes. Our water is poisoned.
Right, and mine is too, because I live in Newark and I got that letter as well. I got that letter as well. Yes.
Yeah. So I need those issues out there. You know, like they say they want Trump is talking about building a wall and all this stuff. Let them clean our water. Man, I want that out there. Maybe Mark Thompson, when you're on the radio, tell him like, yo, you want to do something? You want a national emergency? Clean our water, because it's not only our water that's poisoned. I think the surrounding suburbs, all around the country, the pipes have lead or whatever it is. Fix our water. I think that's an emergency. These are things that should be taken care of. And when he tried to blow me off, when he just tried to walk away from me like I wasn't important, like I wasn't worth the time of day, that hurt me. Because like I may not have looked up to Mark Thompson, but I look up to Baraka. I look up to the mayor. I look up to people like this because I read about them in books. I read about Baraka's father in books. And like I would hope these people would speak about things that concern me and not things that the Democratic Party thinks is important. And like I don't care about him losing his job. That's really gonna do nothing for me. I don't want to just hurt him just to be hurting him. I wish he would reach out because maybe I could even call Sirius or something and tell him I don't want him to get fired. Like It's not about that. Like what good is it gonna do for me if he has no job? How am I gonna eat?
So another question that I have is that just a follow up to that, do you feel that the city of Newark has failed you, in particular, Mayor Baraka, being that you have been supportive of his campaigns and just him as a leader?
Like, when I saw him, he had a town hall meeting, and in the town hall meeting, he didn't mention my name, but he spoke about the incident, and the way he spoke about me, the way he talked about me, as if I was nobody, as if he didn't know me. As if he didn't know all the work I've been doing for the last over a decade. Which several times he told me, yo, come work in my administration. And I told him if I come and do that, I cannot work with the kids. I won't have time to do the stuff I do with the kids. I told him just help me, just support the stuff I do with the kids. But for him to split because of his friend Mark Thompson made up these stories, whatever, like it really bothered me. Like it still bothers me. He told me I was supposed to go see him, I think on the 23rd, right? We supposed to have a meeting to go speak on the 23rd. And when I go there, that's what I'm gonna tell him. I'm not upset. It's like I'm just disappointed because I looked up to these people. I look up to him. I looked up to his father. So it's like if I can put my faith in him, then who can I really put my faith in? I mean, and that's exactly what I'm going to tell him. He could say whatever he want to say about me. He could talk about me how he want to talk about me. I'm not going to go back and forth with him. I mean, I don't even think that's safe to do. But I'm not going to go back and forth like trying to like, nah, because I really respect his family. I respect his mother. I respect everything that he's accomplished. I just wish our voice is being heard. That's all I care about. It's nothing personal. I don't wish nothing bad on him. I don't wish none of that. Just speak about the issues that bother us, the things that we're going through. And yo, I really think if he did that, he would have more support. I think if they really did that, they will wake up a sleeping beast. Because the 4%, they had a school board election last week. Only 4% of the population voted. Only 4%.
Right.
There's a reason why. Because they don't care no more. They don't believe in these politicians. If you start speaking up for us, all the 180,000 will go out and vote. But
right. And it's kind of like the sentiment that I've been getting in terms of like, particularly for Newark. And a lot of people don't talk about Newark. And I think Newark is a really, like, to me, pivotal and critical city to talk about these issues is that when you have an elected official such as Baraka, who all of his DNA, right, represents being for the people, all of his, grassroots politics been for the people. I've never, me being coming from where I'm coming from, I remember very vividly walking down the street and seeing hundreds of students. This is when he was a council member, walking down the street, protesting, walking out of school, because a lot of that, he was the organizer. And so to have that youth, that energy, and then have the community back you, and then become in a position of power at the height of gentrification, and a lot of people are shaking their heads like, I don't know what's going on, it's smelling funky, like you said you were going to be different, you know what I'm saying? And then have it back to have it back to back, where you have Cory Booker, and then you have Baraka. Like, a lot of people don't know, in a lot of ways, when you mention Cory Booker in Newark, people will spit, you know what I mean, on the ground.
I would too. I would too, man.
I spit, that's some clean water, goddamn it. So, but yeah, so I think this is like really critical. I would like for you to just, I would like for you to also think about how this moment, can be used other than just a conversation, because you do very good work, which goes to the final question is that how can people who are currently listening to this, how can they support you in the work that you do, right? You doing a youth program and working in the community.
Hey, man, look, my number is 862-283-9918. Like, I'm not shy about giving out my number. I'm in the community 24/7. I work in the roughest part of the community. My Facebook page is my Youth Services, MA''ATMYS, right? MYS. So you can always reach out to me if you want to donate money. We will gladly take it. But if you don't, that's okay. Like, the struggle doesn't stop. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing on a daily basis. But and let
me just say this, because we've had several rounds of, right. So one of the things that people could do, especially like in the summertime, because you work, the last time I saw when you were training, it was an outdoor basketball court, which it gets very hot work in the summertime. So people can bring waters, food, snacks, fruits, things like that to feed the youth, because they're working diligently on those courts.
You brought stuff too. You brought stuff a few years ago. You came by, you brought all of that stuff. You even brought jerseys. No, but
I did. Okay.
you brought jerseys. Yes, you brought jerseys.
Yes,
but like the summertime, it's like there's no free food, there's no free breakfast, there's no free lunch, because that's where they get it from in school, and there's nothing really to do for them to do. Like, they don't have money to go to these different camps and things. So the entire summer, from 9 o'clock in the morning to around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we have created a space where they can come, and I teach them how to dribble, teach them how to teach them the defenses, the offenses. We also work out. Like, we do, like, I use that time, I utilize it well. We out there in the hot sun. So it's like, so that if anybody, because we don't have a gym. We don't have a gym to go to. I can't afford a gym, but the parks is outside. All you have to do is call the city, and you could get a permit to work outside in the park for the whole summer. So for the whole summer, this is what we do. Like and it helps. It helps keep them out of trouble. And while they're playing basketball, I can talk to them about Du Bois. I can instill little ideas in their mind. Like most of the time, the kids be like, yo, I hate my father. My father's in jail. My father's never around. Yo, I hate my father. And like I can have these conversations with them. Like most of them are like 14, 15, 16. So I'm like, do we live in a racist society? They're like, yeah. I'm like, do the police just be messing with you? They be like, yeah. I'm like, do you think your father's in jail for something wrong? They be like, nah, yo, the police just came and they did it and they locked him up. So I'm like, if he's in there and he can't come out, how can he see you? How can he provide anything to you? Have you ever tried to write him? They be like, nah, I ain't no need to write him. Like we have these conversations and then they go home and they come back the next day and they're like, yo, I wrote my father. He sent me a letter. He told me how much he loved me, that when he come home, he's never going back to jail. Yo, even about LGBTQ, is that it?
Yes, sir.
Yo, even like sometimes, cause like I had a small car, so I used to have to pack all the kids in the car. So they be like, yo, I'm not sitting on nobody's lap. This is gonna turn me gay. I'm like, man, sitting on somebody's lap don't turn you gay. We can have these conversations because I have them in that space to speak to them instead of them picking up like things from the media, from rap music, from whatever, and thinking like that's how it's supposed to be. I can really deal with them on that level. And I'm telling you, like I won't change anything because the opportunity to speak to the dialogue with these kids, yo, it's priceless. I mean, and then you get to see them grow up and mature. You get to see like all the lessons you teach them about discipline, working hard. Because nobody will tell you they work their kids harder than me.
Oh, I know that. And you remember one day I said, could you please have mercy on your son?
and everybody's like, yo, Afrika, why are you so hard on them? Because they don't understand there is no shortcuts in life.
That's
like
true.
you have to show up. You have to be the first one every single day, and you have to know where you're going. And I don't even like sometimes we be up by 20. We playing the game and we're up by 20, 30, and people are upset because my intensity is still high. Like still telling them to run the plays and still focus. It's not about the score that's on the scoreboard. It's how you play the game. Like even in life, it's not about what you have. It's how you live, what kind of person you are, your ethos, your character. And it's a daily thing because it's hard to be in the space that they're in and still hold on to those qualities. Like, yo, these streets will turn you cold. They'll make you hard and rough because it's hard out here. Like, most of these kids don't eat. They go a whole day without eating and nobody cares. Like, what do you think a kid is going to do when they go all day without eating? They're going to steal. They're going to find a way to get food in their body. They're going to find a way to get those Jordans. And you teach them, like, that's not what life is about. Life is bigger than that. So, like, man, I just love doing it. I love doing it. It's rewarding. When I lay down at night to go to sleep, even though we don't have all the fancy things in the world, like, I feel good. I feel real good when I go to sleep. And you could teach that. And when you start teaching the kids, embody those things. And you'll be amazed at what they can do, what they accomplish, once they understand that somebody really cares and there's a different path to take. I mean, so I love it.
You know, Brother Afrika, I really do appreciate this interview. I'm so glad that, I saw on Patience's Facebook page just the snapshot of the incident. And I was like, yo, what is this? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on here? I was reaching out concerned, but did not know that this was a much bigger story. You could have gone anywhere in the world, you know what I mean? Because you are what they call a hot topic. And so I was just really just reaching out to see how you were doing. And I'm so happy that you were able to sit down and take the time and talk to me. I I say congratulations on your growth. Thank you for being who you are in the community. I know this will get resolved, and I look forward to seeing how it turns out.
Now let
Any
me say,
last words? I would say last words are
let me
yours.
now let me say something to you too. I didn't know you when you came to Essex County. I had just came out of prison, and I was struggling. I didn't know myself, but I remember you came into class and you gave that presentation. You talked about it was about coloring, like bleaching and all of that, and you said like you really care, like you trying to change the world, do all these things, and you left. I never saw you again. The next time I saw you was you coming out to come bring water and stuff to the kids outside. Now, it's people like you make what I do worth it, because you get no rewards. Yo, we've been working, me and Patience and I have been working in the city for the last 11 years. We've never gotten an award. We've never gotten nothing from the city. Like, people say hi, they're nice, whatever, they're nice when they see us, but they've never recognized what we do. But on numerous occasions, you have came out of your own pocket. I'm telling you, when we was in Vegas, like, we couldn't believe it. You came to our hotel room to come and give. Yo, that is what keep us going. Because most of the time, like, you feel like giving up. Because we literally spend maybe 60% of our income on the work we do. So what else is left for us? What else is left for our kids? And sometimes we want to quit. Sometimes we want to quit.
Me too.
Yeah, but it's like, but people like you. And one more thing, I gotta give my mother a shout out. Because if it wasn't for Mom Dukes, I wouldn't be here. Like I said, I was born in Newark, but my father took us to Africa. My father stole us from my mother and took us to that's a whole nother story. I'm gonna wrap this up in 30 seconds.
No, it's all good. I'm here.
Yeah, my father stole us from my mother when I was 2 and took us to Africa. My mother left from America and went to Africa, the entire continent, to go and search for us and bring us back. She stole us back.
Wow.
They had 6 kids. She went back and took me and my other brother and brought us back over here. Then my other brother tried to leave and come, and he got caught in the Civil War in Liberia, I think in 89, 90. Man, she went to Liberia during the Civil War to go get him and bring him back. So it's like everything that I do come from somewhere. My father was he was an accountant. He worked at a university in Africa. He was very intelligent. So I took that part from him, his mind, going to school, educating myself. Yo, Mom, what grade did you finish? What grade did you? Nah, tell the truth. What grade? I don't think my mother ever graduated high school. My mother didn't finish high school, but she came to America. No, when you was in Africa, you didn't finish. She came to America and she worked hard. And I used to watch her work.
This is Patience's mom.
No, my mother.
Your mother. Okay.
Yeah. Yo, she came to America. She used to work 16 hours a day in nursing home just to take care of us. She bought a home. She established herself in Newark. And all of those things is what make me the person I am now. I mean, so I'll never forget that. I wish I had the opportunity to write a book about her life, because without her, there's no me. I mean, it's a circle. People wonder, every time people see me yo, Africa, yo, where you get this from? Where you get this from? It's from her. Yo, when I was growing up, my mother used to leave the back door open. All the kids in the neighborhood, they know, if they watch this show, they know they used to come in and could walk in and open the refrigerator and get something to eat. None of them could I go to their house and do the same thing. I mean, all those things stuck with me, and she never turned the kid away. So it's nobody gets to tell her story, or she never gets out there. So while I'm on this space, I gotta make sure I get that out there. Her name is utterly. I'm telling your name, Ma. Her name. I'm saying your name. Can I say the first name?
You already said it.
I already said it. Well, they know who my mother anyway. She don't want to. They know who my mother is. But yeah, man, I love her, man. And everything that I am, I get from her. So they can't stop me. Just like they couldn't stop her from talking. They can't stop me.
That's right.
And thank you for giving me this opportunity.
And thank you for telling that story. You ended on such a positive note. There is nothing I can just say thank you, mommy. Thank you, Patience, for being patient. I think that was that was actual. Hey, Patience. That was definitely a divine name, and I wish you the best in your endeavors, and we will see each other on them streets.
Thank you.
Once again, I am talking to Afrika, a community activist and organizer out of Newark, New Jersey, who is also the co-founder of Ma'at Youth Services with his wife, Patience Roberts. Have a great evening, sir.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.